Hi, I'm Femi OK. Today we revisit the music of Indigenous artists who've played right here on the Stream stage. So stand by for Maimouna Youssef, also known as Mumu Fresh, to hear how she collaborates with other Indigenous artists to create a powerful mix of music and activism. Also on our playlist, Frank Waln, the Native American hip-hop artist who raps in the Lakota language. We start with the Grammy-nominated Colombian-Canadian singer and songwriter Lido Pimienta. Lido is going to be joining us in just a moment, but first, here she is performing on the Stream back in 2018. Lido Pimienta performing Agua on the Stream 3 years ago. Welcome back.
I mean, it's been a lot. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. We were performing at the Grammys. The album has been recognized worldwide. Miss Colombia, La Papesa era was beautiful. I was able to, you know, bring to the world the baby that was inside of me when I was performing for you. And now she takes over my life. Everything colorful in my studio is for her. This is her little modern home that I made out of cardboard, so she can help me. So and Lido, just continue to resist. Yeah,
so Lido, I'm thinking, because we just watched you perform Agua, which is 3 years ago, which is about Indigenous rights, respecting Mother Nature. Do you see, looking back then, an evolution in your music? Do you think, I've grown, I've changed, I'm doing something different now?
I think that I am in constant motion and in constant evolution. And I think that until our struggles and until the things that we're seeing about end in peace and in the rights and in the right hands, then I'm probably going to start singing about other things, you know. But I feel like there's an evolution in sound and that my message is only becoming stronger, for sure.
The nomination for Best Latin Rock Alternative Album featuring traditional Colombian instruments and Afro-Colombian album, what does that mean for people in Colombia and also for people in Canada? What did they tell you about that?
Everyone was extremely supportive and extremely happy. You know, I'm not really a person that is reading labels and things like that. And I do feel like a lot of my music does come out of my heart. But when it's recognized, you know, that the sounds come from a specific place or a specific people, it gives us more strength, you know, which is what my music is about. So people were very happy, very proud in Canada. People were in full celebration. So yeah, I mean, I made sure that I made my message clear. I made sure that we performed, that we created a show, you know, and that's what we gave people. So I'm very proud and very happy to have shared the stage with 2 Afro-Indigenous artists. I'm happy that we were able to feature all Latin American, Colombian art. So yeah, we did what we came to do.
We're looking at some of the pictures from your Grammy performance, and underneath on YouTube, I was looking at the comments. This is literally the most beautiful form of pure art I've seen in the longest time. This is mesmerizing. This is art. Lido, tell us about how you conceptualized the look of your performance. What were you trying to do?
Everything that I do comes with intention. Everything that I do, everything that I put out, I have already thought about it. Some of the imagery comes to me in dreams. Some of the imagery, I collaborate with visual artists that are like-minded. This collaboration for the Grammys I did with artists Orly and On, and she is a Colombian artist based in Mexico City, and we have a beautiful friendship. And she also did the art direction for the cover of my album, so it only made sense that I work with her again. We've done music videos together, and I work with an all crew of Indigenous, Black, diasporic artists, and that's why you can really see when people, the reaction is so true, because that's exactly where all of the art came from memory, from all of our struggles and the love that we have for color and nature. That's what that song is about, and that's what the performance was about.
The Grammys are expanding how much space they have for Latin artists, and I remember when you were on the stream 3 years ago, you talked about why you sing in Spanish, why that's important. Let me just remind our audience what you said.
Well, yeah, first I will ask who can speak Spanish, and then there's like 2 people that can, and then I'm like, well, this is the perfect time to download your Rosetta Stone app or Inglés Sin Barreras, you know. It's like, I don't know if that app exists, but I do know that the Rosetta Stone multilingual programs were really hot, so I'm like, there should be an app for that. You should download it, because I am not about to translate this. I'll contextualize a little bit, but yeah, it's good.
Lydia, I feel like people are coming around to your way of thinking, because the performance at the Grammys, the fact that you were nominated, the reception of Miss Colombia, how do you feel people now are looking at Indigenous artists where they may not be performing in English, which was, if you want to be successful, you kind of have to sing in English?
Yeah, I think that the dominating people in the music industry, the majority are people of color. And that a big branch of the mainstream music industry are, you know, Caribbean descendants, Colombians, you know, that are making a sort of mix between pop and, yeah, Caribbean sounds. You know, what I do still is art, and it's not something that is readily sold to the masses like some of the pop that's out there. But I do feel like because music in Spanish has been more accepted, and it's mainly because, you know, second and third generation people my age and like the youth are listening to the music of, you know, their culture and their countries that represent them. So I feel like the music industry is simply reflecting what the audience wants, you know, and because it's still an industry and because it's still a business, they're realizing that they have to make space for other languages and other cultures. And we still have ways to go, but, you know, I embrace any kind of change in the right direction.
Lido Pimienta, back on the stream after a 3-year hiatus, always growing, always fascinating. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Femi.
Next on our playlist, Maimouna Youssef, aka Mumu Fresh. When she appeared on the stream, she shared a story that made my eyes roll. Maimouna is Native American and African American, but was told by the TV show American Idol that she wasn't American enough to compete.
They said I was too ethnic. I was too ethnic, and if they have an ethnic idol, they'll be sure to give me a call. Yeah, so.
What does that even mean?
What does it even mean? I mean, it shows you where the values lie, you know.
Would you believe in the good I've done, or will my name be split and my story unsung? Search for the answer to take what they hand us. Who's gonna stand with me? Please, please, please don't forget about me. Oh, say my name. Oh, say my name. Don't let it be in vain. Oh, say my name. Oh, say my name. Ooh, my name. Oh, say my name.
You have a unique backstory. I guarantee no one else has a backstory like yours. To prove it, I'm going to show our audience some pictures of you. Let's start with this one here. Have a look on my laptop. This is stunning. I'm going to show a picture of your grandmother and your mother. This is where your musical inspiration, your musical education started. Would you explain, because a lot of people will be looking at these pictures going, say what? Tell us.
Well, I learned to sing at home with my mother and my grandmother in the kitchen. A lot of times people will ask my mother, who also is a vocal coach, to train them to sing, and they think that she's gonna, sit up at a piano and teach them notes, and she'll make them come, shuck corn and pick greens, and because for traditional people, singing is, it's like breathing, it's like praying. It is a part of what you do as a person, as a part of the community, so she'll have you come feel the song, breathe the song, do chores. It's just a part of life, a living, a part of expression. When I was a small girl, I would always see my mother and my grandmother. People would call them, and they would travel all around to heal people, to take pain out of their bodies, to sing into their bodies. And later on, you may look at it. Doctors use the vibration of sound to move matter inside of bodies, and they were doing this with their voices. Not educated in the Western sense, but they knew the power of sound and vibration. So that's kind of how I started. Both my parents and my grandparents had already converted to Islam, but my grandmother was a choir director from Chicago. So, although we were Muslim, she would still teach me these gospel songs and these spirituals from slavery, and she would teach me traditional Native songs that we had to relearn after the Freedom of Religion Act was passed for Native Americans. That wasn't until the 70s. We couldn't practice our culture until the 70s. So, a lot of the culture that was lost because of Indian boarding schools and Natives being forced to forget who we were, we had to go back and relearn those things. So by the time I was born, my grandmother was just starting to relearn the language, because we couldn't even talk about it. You couldn't even talk about being Indian. People thought she was Mexican, and Mexicans are indigenous too. That's why you see so many similarities between the southern tribes. I mean, it's an imaginary border, they're indigenous as well. And so people didn't know that she was Choctaw. So later on, she went back to learn the traditional ways, and she was able to teach that to me.
I am the daughter of freedom fighters and farmers, bootleggers and number runners, copper color like clay, swag cooler than Indian summers.
That gorgeous song is called Ingbata, sung in the Lakota language. I know that melody is going to be going around in your head all day. Since appearing on the stream, Maimouna Youssef has continued to blend activism and music, most recently joining other Indigenous activists and musicians to make the protest song No More Pipeline Blues. It was released on Earth Day to support the protests against the construction of Minnesota's Line 3 tar sands pipeline. Our final artist today is Frank Waln, who doesn't sing in the Lakota language, he raps in it. Genocide, the suffering of Native Americans and their fight to protect their land are themes that run through Frank's music and through this number, My People Come From the Land.
My people come from the land. My people come from the land. My people come from the land. On which you stand, still fighting the white man, still fighting the white. Birth of a rebel, I rebel, my nation living in peril with several flows. I'm arm wrestling with white devils, disheveled but never settle. Settlers ain't on my level, give me bass, give me treble. I'm trouble but never tremble. Rekindle the 7 council fires, keepers of the flame, land of the burnt thigh. It's even in my name. I'm a symbol, see Chungu is how I rumble. I may stumble, but me Oyate Yakichita, I never crumble. Survivors of genocide, the trauma's got me trapped. I used to keep it inside until I decide to rap. My ancestors ain't died for me, lie on my back. Can't take it sitting down, instead I'm fighting back. Buck your system, buck your capitalism. They took the land, made us sick and gave us alcoholism. They took away our wisdom, they took away our health. We're gonna get it back and we're gonna honor ourselves. My people come from the land, on which you stand. My people come from the land, on which you stand. My people come from the land. Free the land, free the land, free the land. Mika oya te kimakoche etan ambi. Mika oya te kimakoche etan ambi. Mika oya te kimakoche etan ambi. Mika oya te kimakoche etan.
When Frank appeared on this show in 2018, we wanted to find out how he used his music to change perceptions of Native Americans. Here's former Stream co-host Malika Bilal exploring that theme.
So you sampled a Disney song. It was from the animated feature, the 1953 animated movie Peter Pan, right? And turned it on its head. So tell us about that.
So I produced my own music, and that was the first time I ever actually sampled off vinyl. I found that record in a children's bin in a used vinyl store in Minneapolis for $1. And I've always wanted to do something with that song just because Disney has a pretty horrible history of stereotyping my people, and it's there in the music. And so I always look for creative ways to flip things like that on their head. And I just want to point out that that song is full of racial slurs for Indigenous people, but it came off of a children's record.
Right.
And you know, so just by doing that alone, it kind of shows you where we're at in this country as far as how we look at and treat Indigenous people.
You have this line in there where you say, what made you think the red man was dead, or something, I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And I know you have a story where that actually happened to you. Someone is surprised.
Yeah, so it was my first week, and so I graduated from Columbia College in Chicago. I got my Bachelor of Arts in Audio Arts and Acoustics, and the first week I was there, I was living in a dorm room, in a dorm building in downtown Chicago, and I got in the elevator, and this girl got on the elevator with me, and she was non-native. She commented on my hair. She's like, you have really pretty hair, what are you? And I was like, you know, thank you, I'm Lakota, and she didn't know what that meant. And so I had to be more general, and I was like, I'm Native American. And she looked at me confused, and she was like, you guys are still alive? You know, and just think about that. We got college-educated adults living on stolen, colonized land that think we don't even exist anymore.
I got 500 years to get off the dome. My mama held me down while Pops was a rolling stone. So let me in my zone when my mic is on. Cause I spit bars for you native kids at home who got wounds and scars. Who dreams go far? You got a jump shot, then you're a red superstar. Cruise around in race cars, disregard their laws. We don't know no better when adults withdraw. Bumping first of the month on the first of the month. From the womb to the hearse, dirt ensures what I want. Selling food stamps, I could give you 40 for 20. All these damn handouts, but ain't no way to make money. This whack 80% unemployment rate, ain't no way to make sure my fam is straight. My brother did a crime and the feds show hate. We still face genocide in this colonial state. Our ceremonies were banned, they cut our grandparents' braids. Took them to that boarding school where our grandparents stayed. Cut them off from the ways that their grandparents prayed. They're trying to build a pipeline over my grandparents' grave. There ain't no stopping this res life from blinding us. Ain't no stopping these problems from finding us. It's like I run with nowhere to go. My nation is a rosebud with nowhere to grow. My people come from the land on which you stand. My people come from the land on which you stand. Still fighting the white man, still fighting the white. Mika oya deki makoche etan hampi. Mika oya deki makoche etan hampi. Mika oya deki makoche etan hampi. Mika oya deki makoche etan hampi.
You know, I think at its core, hip-hop was created by colonized people who were stolen away from their homeland and stolen away from their culture and trying to recreate something that was taken from them. So I think hip-hop at its core is coming from indigenous roots. You know, African folks were indigenous people as well. We all are colonized people. So I think that's why as an indigenous person I resonate with it, because it was created by colonized people and it's drawing from indigenous traditions at its roots.
And that's it for our show today. I'm going to let Frank Waln play us out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka. 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 Ninaki woklake e hanta tanya, anaho tayo, anaho tayo. Predaki. Kimiyage, oichiyapo, oichiyapo. Ninaki woklake e hanta tanya, anaho tayo. Predaki, kimiyage, oichiyapo, oichiyapo. Hoka oyate, wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka. Wana oichiyapo, oichiyapo. Hoka wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka. Wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka. Wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka, wana wichichaka. Hoka, hey, hoka, hey. Hoka, hey. Ninaki woklake e hanta taya, anaho tayo, anaho tayo. Predaki, kimiyage, oichiyapo, oichiyapo. Ninaki woklake e hanta taya, anaho tayo, anaho tayo. Predaki, kimiyage, oichiyapo, oichiyapo. Hoka oyate, wana wichichaka, wana